The number and variety of anti-aging options available these days and the sheer volume of unstructured information on anti-aging are confusing, to say the least. There is an overwhelming volume of scientific research publications on anti-aging, then articles and publications about that research, multi-billion-dollar industries offering so many anti-aging products, different schools of thought, opinions, trends. How can one make sense of that ocean of information? In the previous video, I was telling you about causes of aging and causes of youth and health. If an anti-aging product really addresses aging, it should target at least one of those causes. Knowing those causes of youth and health and causes of aging is the first component in your foundational knowledge that will help you navigate in the field of anti-aging. The second relevant question is, does a product really work? Is there an acceptable level of evidence? Or maybe it's just an opinion based on outdated information, or a conclusion or a claim comes from an animal study that's not necessarily applicable to humans. We'll look at that in one of the future videos. We'll be talking about levels of evidence in medicine and scientific research sometime later. And the third question is, what is the possible general impact of that intervention? Really extending life, improving health, or just a temporary minor effect? We probably want to know that before expanding our efforts or spending our money. Today, we'll be gaining some clarity on that last question by also reconciling 2 points of view on aging. And that will be another cornerstone in your anti-aging knowledge framework. By the way, if you don't care about fundamentals and prefer strictly practical information, you can skip straight to my next video, Anti-Aging 101, where I'll share with you what you can do right now without breaking a budget to stay young longer. And those are measures corresponding to the first point of view in this video. And for those of you who want to know where exactly out there the truth is, let's proceed. Many people adhere to one of the 2 points of view on aging. The first point of view is that aging and death are natural. With this point of view come statements, phrases, and questions such as natural products and remedies are beneficial, healthy lifestyle, how do we age gracefully? By the way, I personally don't like that last phrase for many reasons, and I suggest that we replace it with how do we stay young longer? The second point of view is that aging is a disease with underlying molecular and cellular mechanisms, and as a disease, it could be and should be treated and possibly cured. Which point of view is correct? Both are. And actually, there is no contradiction between the two. We're going to examine that through the prism of an impact on the maximum lifespan of a particular person. Let's take a hypothetical example of 2 identical twins, person A and person B. Given their genome and epigenome at birth, they have a potential to live to be 125 years. To remind you, epigenome, that's additional molecules located mostly on top of the DNA that tell our genome what and when to do. So, 125 years. You may know that the longest documented and verifiable cases as of today are around 120 years, but I like 125. Let's aspire for more. So, person A in our example leads a healthy lifestyle, extremely healthy lifestyle, in a healthy environment. Nonetheless, the damage still accumulates and a progressive loss of function is observed, and at 125, person A passes away. Let's look at this graph. On the horizontal axis, we have years of life. On the vertical axis, we have volume of accumulated damage, dysfunction, and deterioration. The dotted horizontal line in red is the volume of damage and deterioration so large that the person's body can no longer sustain life. The dotted vertical green line is 125 years of the lifespan potential of those two persons, A and B. The green solid line shows the accumulation of damage and dysfunction in person A with the passing of his or her life, with the excessive damage and death at 125. All the damage accumulates due to the reasons I talked about in the previous video. Person B, on the other hand, doesn't get sufficient high-quality sleep, has poor nutrition, leads sedentary lifestyle, is under constant stress, so person B passes away at the age of 80. We will talk about those factors in the next video, Anti-Aging 101. And person B's lifeline here is the orange line. The red arrow shows his life shortening compared to the potential maximum. But note that none of those lifestyle factors are going to extend the life of person A past the age of 125, no matter how much high-quality sleep, nutrition, or exercise he or she gets. For that reason, a more accurate statement about the impact of the lifestyle and environmental factors is unhealthy lifestyle shortens life. What about positive impact of the healthy lifestyle? 2 points on this one. One is gray area, the other one is more definitive. The first one, the gray area. In our example, we assumed the maximum lifespan potential of a person to be 125 years. What about cases when, due either to transgenerational epigenetic inheritance or factors, negative factors during mother's pregnancy, a person is born with a maximum lifespan potential, let's say 90 years? Can a healthy lifestyle counteract negative epigenetic settings at birth? Hypothetically, it's possible. However, there is no data on that, and that's pure speculation. The other one is more definitive. If a person leads an unhealthy lifestyle, thus speeding up their own aging process, if they adopt healthy habits, they will be able, at least to some extent, to reverse the negative consequences. To encourage and inspire you to implement or adhere to the healthy lifestyle, I listed here just a couple of many studies on this topic, which is that healthy habits can, at least to some extent, reverse negative changes from unhealthy lifestyle earlier in life. Let's go back to our last main point, which was that unhealthy lifestyle shortens life compared to the maximum potential allotted at birth. So to be perfectly correct, eating healthy doesn't really extend life. It's eating unhealthy that shortens life. And yes, that is only a semantic difference from the perspective that no matter from what angle you look at this, our lifestyle choices have an impact on how long we will live. And the practical implication is that to stay young longer, we must make healthy choices. That is not, however, just a semantic difference if you're trying to get a solid grasp on what can be done to extend youth and health and life. That is not only a semantic difference if you were to ask, are there factors that can extend life past 125 years? And we'll get to that in just 2 minutes. Prior to that, let's get out of the way the natural part of this conundrum. There is a common stereotype or misconception associated with the word natural. It's frequently misused to trigger an impression of desirability and harmony. How many times have you seen on TV or in printed material something like this? A happy family of four dressed all in white on a green lawn, and a happy cow grazing nearby with a backdrop of mountains, and the word natural is being said or shown. We're programmable through more mechanisms than the Pavlov's dog. As a result, our brain is programmed to associate the word natural with something like, this is how the universe intended it for you, and it's always good and wonderful for you. Is it? Think about this. Many cases of cancers are natural. So are many genetic disorders. So are deaths at childbirth. So are many pathogens, such as Yersinia pestis that cause bubonic plague, or Ebola virus, or the volcanic eruption that buried Pompeii. Does the natural origin of any of the above make them good for us, at least for us humans? So yes, aging is natural indeed. It happens even to the person A in our example, due to the molecular and cellular reasons that I talked about in the previous video. And to state the obvious, that aging is natural doesn't make it either good or even impossible to deal with. And that is where we see the second point of view on aging, that aging is a disease, however natural, with mostly known causes and with underlying cellular and molecular mechanisms just like any disease. And those mechanisms are the reason why the person A in our example is not going to live past 125 years unless some effective anti-aging interventions that extend life, are invented. When viewed as a disease with known mechanisms, it's possible to target those mechanisms and find countermeasures. Not only there is no contradiction between the 2 points of view on aging, but this is where they converge. Unhealthy lifestyle speeds up those underlying cellular and molecular mechanisms. Let's look at an example. Not getting sufficient sleep. When a person is not getting sufficient high-quality sleep, their DNA damage repair goes down, thus speeding up the first hallmark of aging, or the first reason for aging, genomic instability or accumulated genetic damage. Many studies also show that people who are not getting sufficient sleep are becoming more susceptible to infectious diseases. Their immune system goes down. What else do the immune cells do? They remove acutely senescent cells. To some extent, acutely senescent cells can transition to the state of chronic senescence. Chronically senescent cells become resistant to apoptosis and start poisoning the environment around them. So here we see two more hallmarks of aging: cellular senescence, accumulation of senescent cells, and altered intercellular communication in the form of chronic inflammation. To repeat on the convergence, unhealthy lifestyle is speeding up molecular and cellular mechanisms of aging. Let's summarize what we've covered so far. Aging is a natural disease, and it may be possible to treat it, or even reverse it. That's what many biotechnology companies are working on. Unhealthy lifestyle and environment speed up and aggravate molecular and cellular pathways underlying the aging process. The variables that we can work with under the aging is natural point of view are a healthy lifestyle and a healthy environment. First, with a healthy lifestyle, we can achieve the maximum or near maximum health span and lifespan given to us by our genes and our epigenetic patterns. Second, adopting healthy habits such as exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress management may be able to reverse the negative impact and the accelerated aging from unhealthy lifestyle earlier in life. And what about anti-aging interventions under the science-based second point of view on aging? The second point of view on aging inspires efforts to dissect the stated cellular and molecular mechanisms of aging and to search for countermeasures. So we're talking about some small molecule or biologics or gene therapy to, for example, reverse epigenetic aging, restore telomere length, restore the proper nutrient sensing. Those biologics, small molecule, pharmaceutical, or gene therapy may lead to the extension in the health span and hopefully to the true life extension. What I showed here in the dotted bright green line is that those inventions may help person A with crossing from 125 to, looks like I have about 160 in this graph, moving from A1 to A2. This should not only help person A going past 125 years of age, it should also help repairing some damage incurred through practicing an unhealthy lifestyle that shortens life. And there is the yellow line and arrows from B1 to B2 lifeline. In a way, that's the magic bullet that many people want. To be clear, we are not talking about extending years of old age, frailty, and misery. We are talking about extending life through restoring youth and health. That's a big difference. And that second group of measures is currently of a lower practical interest to the end users. That's more of a scientific domain and domain of biotechnology companies. There is also a third group of interventions that somewhat overlaps with the first two. And you can definitely challenge how I broke everything down into three groups and how I allocated measures into three different groups. However, that breakdown gives us at least some structure for understanding. So, group of measures number 3. I allocated into it everything that already exists and is available that goes above and beyond what a healthy lifestyle can accomplish, and that also has not been proven to extend life. Generally speaking, it's just very difficult to prove that something extends life in humans. Now, to find my own criticism of the word natural, I'm going to call this group of measures existing conditional and natural biohacking. And that group extends from millennia-old fasting practices to recently popular intravenous NAD+, to stem cell therapies, to supplements and drugs, for example, senolytics, to meditations, etc. I will be covering many of those in the upcoming videos. And yes, stem cell therapies are very different from meditations or even from prolonged fasting. However, for our purposes today, it's sufficient to know that we already have measures available that go above and beyond just the healthy lifestyle. Just like with the scientifically designed anti-aging interventions for life extension from the second group, it is possible that to some extent, measures from that third group may be able to truly extend the lifespan past the originally maximum allotted. Or maybe they can extend health span only, meaning that the duration of life remains the same, but the person enjoys more energy, vitality, and health later in life because of the fewer health issues. And those measures from the conditional natural biohacking group are of a more practical interest to us now, just because they are already available. Unfortunately, the challenge is that their effectiveness for the lifespan extension has not been proven, and those who adhere strictly to the evidence-based medicine are unlikely to find sufficient level of evidence for many of those conditional and natural biohacking measures. And in the next video, Anti-Aging 101, What can you do right now without breaking a budget to stay young longer? See you next time.